Embracing the present is one of the most powerful and transformative actions you can take in your life. It means recognizing that the only moment you truly have is the one you're experiencing right now. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain, but the present is where you have control. So often people get caught up in what has already happened or what might happen in the future, but neither of these things can shape the now. The beauty of embracing the present lies in understanding that it's the only time you can truly act, change, and impact your life in a meaningful way. When we constantly dwell on the past, whether it's mistakes, regrets, or lost opportunities, we become prisoners of our own memories. We replay old situations over and over in our minds, often imagining ways we could have done things differently. This constant rumination can cause us to stay stuck in a mental cycle of negativity, which saps our energy and limits our growth. The past is useful only in how we learn from it, not in how we live it repeatedly in our minds. Dwelling on what happened before doesn't change it. It only prevents us from moving forward. The past can't be rewritten, and it shouldn't have the power to govern how we live today. Similarly, many people spend a great deal of energy worrying about the future, the what-ifs, the fears, doubts, and uncertainties about what may or may not happen, often prevent us from fully engaging in the present moment. It's natural to have concerns about what lies ahead, but when we focus too much on the future, we lose sight of what's happening right now. Worrying about things beyond your control only creates unnecessary stress and anxiety. When you focus too much on the unknown, you miss the beauty and opportunity that exists in the here and now. The future is a series of present moments strung together, so how you navigate and live in the present directly impacts your future. When you embrace the present, you begin to see that the power of life is in what you're doing right now. Every action, every choice, and every thought in the present moment lays the foundation for what comes next. Your attitude, your focus, and your energy in the present shape your future more than anything else. Instead of wishing things were different or imagining how they might unfold, you make the most of the moment you're in. You recognize that this is your time to create, to decide, and to act. Being present also means that you give yourself permission to truly experience life as it unfolds. And when you're present, you savor the small moments, the ones that so often get overlooked when you're busy looking back or ahead. It's in these moments that you find clarity, purpose, and peace. Whether it's a simple conversation, a walk in nature, or enjoying a meal, being fully engaged in the present allows you to appreciate life more deeply. It's not about achieving a future goal or fixing something from the past, but about being open and receptive to what is unfolding right now. In order to embrace the present, you have to let go of the need for control. Life is unpredictable, and there's no way to foresee every twist and turn. But if you can release the grip on outcomes and focus on being in the moment, you'll find a new sense of freedom. You allow things to unfold as they will, trusting that you have the strength, wisdom, and resilience to handle whatever comes. This doesn't mean you stop planning for the future, but it does mean you stop letting it consume your thoughts or dictate your emotional state. You stay grounded in the now, where you have the power to create the life you desire. Embracing the present is a practice, one that requires mindfulness and awareness. It's about learning to tune out distractions, quiet the mind, and focus on what matters most in the moment. When you do this, you tap into a deeper sense of peace and purpose. You stop waiting for things to be perfect before you act, and instead, you realize that the present moment, in all its imperfections, is exactly where you need to be. Life is happening now, and it's your opportunity to experience it, to make it yours. Letting go of regret is one of the most freeing things you can do for yourself. Regret is a powerful emotion that holds the potential to anchor you to the past, preventing you from fully experiencing the present and shaping the future. It's a feeling that arises when we believe we've made wrong choices, missed opportunities, or failed to live up to our expectations. Everyone has something they wish they could change, something they wish they had done differently. But the truth is, regret can only hold power over you if you let it. The more you allow regret to linger, the more you stay tethered to a time and place that no longer exists. Regret often thrives on the illusion that things could have turned out differently, but in reality, what has happened cannot be undone. When you focus on the what-ifs and replay past decisions, you're essentially trapping yourself in a loop of negative emotions that can spiral. Every time you revisit the past with regret, you are preventing yourself from moving forward. The mistakes and missteps you wish you could change do not define you. Instead, they are part of your journey, lessons learned along the way. Without them, you would not be the person you are today, capable of learning, adapting, and growing. It's easy to fall into the trap of wishing you had made a different choice. But this mindset ignores the truth that the choices you made at the time were based on the knowledge, experience, and circumstances you had then. At that moment, you made the best decision you could with what you knew. Hindsight often paints a clearer picture, but that clarity was not available when you were in the midst of making those decisions. Regret, in this sense, becomes a form of self-criticism. It's a judgment on your past self, as though you could have been perfect or made better choices, but perfection is an unattainable standard. Every person makes mistakes. It's how we learn and grow. Moreover, regret often stems from a fear of judgment, either from others or from within. We hold on to past decisions because we fear they have consequences that cannot be undone or forgiven. But in holding on to regret, we allow those fears to govern our emotions. Instead of focusing on what's gone wrong, we can shift our attention to how we can move forward, how we can make amends, or how we can use the experience to make better choices in the future. Regret is essentially the burden of carrying the weight of a past that no longer serves you, and the longer you hold on to it, the more you become disconnected from the present moment and the person you are becoming. Releasing regret doesn't mean you forget your past, nor does it mean that you don't acknowledge the mistakes or wrong turns. It's about giving yourself the grace to forgive both others and yourself. It's about accepting that life is a series of imperfect decisions and experiences, and each one contributes to your story in some way. When you release regret, you stop living in the shadow of what could have been and start embracing the power of what is. This shift in focus allows you to build a future that is not constrained by the limitations of past choices. It gives you permission to move forward with the wisdom you've gained from those mistakes rather than being hindered by them. To truly let go of regret, you must learn to practice self-compassion. It's crucial to acknowledge that you did the best you could with the knowledge and tools you had at the time. Life is about growth and transformation, and the past is simply a stepping stone to the person you are becoming. When you forgive yourself for past decisions, you free up emotional energy that can be used to create positive change. Regret keeps you stuck, but forgiveness allows you to open up to new possibilities and opportunities. Letting go of regret also means accepting that life is unpredictable. Sometimes things happen that are beyond your control, and the path you thought you were on takes an unexpected turn. Instead of clinging to the past, you can learn to embrace uncertainty, knowing that everything that happens is part of your evolution. Life is not a straight line, but a winding road, with moments of joy, sorrow, triumph, and loss. Each moment offers the chance to grow, to make different choices, and to learn. By letting go of regret, you allow yourself to step into a new phase of life, one where you are free to create and experience the future with confidence and resilience. Ultimately, letting go of regret is about making peace with yourself and your journey. It's about releasing the emotional weight that holds you back and stepping into the freedom of the present moment. The past is a lesson, not a prison, and when you accept this, you begin to realize that regret no longer has the power to control your narrative. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by your ability to move forward, learn, and continue to grow. Shifting your perspective can be one of the most profound ways to transform your life. The way you view the world, situations, and your circumstances influences everything, your thoughts, emotions, and actions. When you change your perspective, you change how you experience the world and how you react to challenges, opportunities, and even failures. This shift isn't about altering reality, it's about seeing things in a new light, reframing the way you interpret experiences and embracing a different mindset that empowers you to move forward with confidence and clarity. The way we perceive events often dictates how we feel and respond to them. For example, two people might face the same situation, but one might see it as an obstacle, while the other sees it as an opportunity for growth. The difference lies in how they interpret the experience. A setback might feel like a personal failure to one person, while to another, it's simply a challenge to overcome. The reality hasn't changed, but the perception of it has, and that shift can completely change the emotional and mental outcome. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. One of the most significant shifts in perspective comes when you stop viewing difficulties as problems and start seeing them as opportunities. Life is full of challenges, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed or defeated when things don't go according to plan. However, challenges are often the catalysts for growth and learning. When faced with difficulty, instead of focusing on the problem itself, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this situation to improve? This mindset shift allows you to embrace obstacles not as barriers but as stepping stones that lead you toward greater resilience and wisdom. Changing your perspective also involves shifting from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. In a world that often emphasizes what's missing or lacking, it's easy to adopt a mentality of scarcity, where you focus on what you don't have or what you haven't achieved. However, shifting to an abundance mindset opens up a world of possibilities. It's about recognizing that there is enough to go around, whether it's love, success, or opportunity. This perspective not only changes how you view your own life, but how you view others and the world at large. Instead of seeing others as competition or feeling envious of their success, you begin to see their achievements as evidence of what is possible, and it inspires you to keep going, knowing that there is room for everyone to thrive. Sometimes, shifting your perspective is as simple as changing the lens through which you view your current circumstances. For example, if you find yourself in a situation you don't particularly enjoy, instead of focusing on the discomfort or frustration it causes, look for the lessons it offers. If you're stuck in a job you don't love, perhaps it's an opportunity to develop new skills, meet new people, or even prepare for something better. If you're facing a personal challenge, think about how it's making you stronger, more resilient, or more empathetic. It's easy to become consumed by the negative aspects of a situation, but when you deliberately seek out the positive, you begin to see everything through a different, more empowering lens. Another powerful shift in perspective occurs when you let go of the need for external validation and start looking inward for approval and contentment. So often, people rely on the opinions of others to dictate their self-worth and happiness. Whether it's seeking praise for achievements, approval from peers, or affirmation from loved ones, the external world can become a measuring stick for your self-value. But when you shift your perspective and begin to realize that true happiness and self-worth come from within, you free yourself from the constant need for validation. You start to trust your own intuition and embrace who you are, independent of others' opinions. This inward shift also allows you to step into a place of self-compassion. Instead of being overly critical or judgmental of yourself, you begin to see yourself as a work in progress, worthy of kindness, understanding, and growth. You stop holding yourself to unrealistic standards and instead embrace the journey of becoming the best version of yourself, knowing that it's okay to stumble and learn along the way. With this perspective, you remove the pressure of perfection and allow yourself the space to grow without the fear of making mistakes. Shifting your perspective can also lead to deeper gratitude. By intentionally choosing to focus on the positive aspects of your life, you begin to see how much you have rather than focusing on what's missing. This simple change can drastically improve your overall outlook. Gratitude shifts your energy from a mindset of lack to one of abundance, reminding you of the many blessings in your life, both big and small. It cultivates a sense of peace and satisfaction, knowing that even in difficult times, there are always things to be thankful for. At its core, shifting your perspective is about changing the way you think, perceive, and react to the world around you. When you take control of your thoughts and choose to see life through a lens of possibility, positivity, and gratitude, you empower yourself to take on whatever comes your way. It's not about denying the challenges or pretending that everything is always perfect. Rather, it's about recognizing that how you view those challenges is what ultimately determines their impact on your life. By shifting your perspective, you unlock the ability to experience life more fully, to approach problems with a clear mind, and to live with greater purpose and joy. You are not your past, and understanding this truth is crucial for moving forward and embracing the potential of the present and future. Many people, whether consciously or unconsciously, live under the weight of their past experiences, allowing those moments to define who they are in the present. Whether it's a series of mistakes, missed opportunities, or personal failures, the past can become an anchor that keeps you tethered to a version of yourself that no longer serves you. The past, however, is not who you are. It's simply a collection of experiences, some positive and others negative, but they do not define your identity or determine your future. One of the most limiting beliefs that people often carry is the idea that their past mistakes make them unworthy or incapable of change. This belief can stem from a place of guilt or regret, and it can create a narrative where the mistakes and missteps of the past become an internalized version of who you are. When you let your past define you, you limit your ability to grow and evolve. The truth is, your past is not a reflection of your inherent worth or potential. Every mistake or failure is simply a lesson, and it's through those lessons that you gain wisdom and resilience. Just because you've made poor choices before doesn't mean you are destined to repeat them. Nor does it mean you are incapable of being better. The process of self-growth and transformation requires that you stop identifying with the person you were yesterday and start focusing on the person you are becoming. We often grow through the challenges we face, and sometimes it's the hardest experiences that offer the most profound lessons. If you constantly look back on the past with regret or shame, you miss the opportunity to learn from those experiences and use them as stepping stones for your personal growth. The past serves as a tool for growth, not a definition of who you are. Each day is a new opportunity to rewrite your story, to choose new actions, and to embrace new possibilities. You are not your past failures, and you are not your past successes either. Both serve as part of your journey, but they don't define your worth or potential moving forward. Sometimes people define themselves by the achievements of their past, holding on to the glory of what they've done in order to feel validated or fulfilled. However, while past achievements are something to be proud of, they should not dictate your value or limit what you can achieve. Just because you've succeeded in something in the past doesn't mean you are bound to stay in that space. And just because you failed in the past doesn't mean you will fail again. Your potential is limitless and cannot be confined to your past. Your past is also shaped by external influences, your upbringing, your environment, the people around you, many of which were outside of your control. While these factors may have shaped who you were, they do not determine who you are or who you can become. When you realize that your past was influenced by factors beyond your control, you can begin to free yourself from the notion that you are bound by it. You can break free from the patterns and behaviors that no longer serve you and embrace the possibility of creating a future that is not limited by your previous experiences. To move forward, it's essential to shift your mindset from being a victim of your past to becoming the author of your future. The moment you stop identifying with the past and start embracing the idea that you can create a new path, you reclaim your power. This shift allows you to take ownership of your life, regardless of where you've been or what has happened to you. You are not bound by your past circumstances, and you don't have to carry the weight of previous mistakes, failures, or regrets. Part of embracing the fact that you are not your past involves letting go of the emotional baggage that you've carried for too long. Guilt, shame, anger, and resentment can all be heavy burdens that keep you stuck in the past. These emotions are valid, but when you hold on to them, they only weigh you down and prevent you from moving forward. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or denying your past, but it means releasing the emotional hold it has on you. It means forgiving yourself and others for mistakes made, and accepting that everyone is a work in progress. It's important to remember that growth is not linear. The journey of self-improvement is filled with ups and downs, and each step, whether forward or backward, is part of your evolution. There may be setbacks or moments when you feel like you're repeating past mistakes, but these don't define you. What matters is your ability to recognize those moments, learn from them, and continue moving forward. Every day is a chance to redefine yourself, to shed the layers of who you were, and to embrace the person you are becoming. When you embrace the idea that you are not your past, you create the space to fully step into who you truly are and who you are capable of becoming. The freedom that comes with letting go of your past is empowering. It allows you to live in the present and make choices based on who you are today, not who you were yesterday. You are not your past mistakes, nor are you your past successes. You are a person constantly evolving, and your future is shaped by the decisions and actions you take today. Don't allow your past to hold you back from stepping into your full potential. Let it go, embrace who you are now, and take ownership of the life you want to create moving forward. Having the courage to move on is one of the most empowering acts of self-love and resilience that anyone can demonstrate. It requires strength not only to let go of what no longer serves you, but also to embrace the unknown and trust that the best is yet to come. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting about your past, ignoring your feelings, or pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It means making a conscious decision to no longer allow your past experiences, relationships, or circumstances to control your future. It's about gathering the strength to walk away from what holds you back and stepping forward into new opportunities, even when the path ahead is unclear. Often, the hardest part of moving on is letting go of the familiarity of what you've known. People tend to hold on to relationships, jobs, or situations that are comfortable, even if they're not fulfilling or healthy. The comfort of the known, even when it's not ideal, can be more appealing than the uncertainty of change. There's a natural fear of what lies ahead, and it can feel safer to stay stuck in the past, even if it's no longer serving your growth. But true courage is found when you step away from the familiar and trust that you deserve more, even if you don't yet know what that more looks like. Moving on is not about dismissing the importance of your past experiences or relationships. It's about recognizing that holding on to them any longer only keeps you tied to a version of your life that is no longer in alignment with who you are becoming. People grow, circumstances change, and life evolves. Sometimes, to honor that growth, you have to let go of things that no longer fit the person you are today. It may be a painful process, especially if it involves letting go of something or someone you once thought was integral to your happiness. But letting go is an essential part of creating the space for new things to enter your life. By having the courage to move on, you open yourself up to new experiences, new people, and new opportunities that are far more aligned with where you're headed. One of the challenges of moving on is the emotional resistance that comes with it. The emotional weight of the past can feel overwhelming, and the fear of losing what you've known can create feelings of doubt and uncertainty. It's easy to question whether you're making the right decision, whether you're strong enough to handle the change, or whether you'll regret your choice. But moving on isn't about certainty, it's about trust. It's about trusting yourself and your ability to navigate through the discomfort of change, knowing that with time, healing, and growth, you'll look back and realize that moving on was the best decision you could have made. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the ability to act in spite of it. Even when you're scared, even when you're uncertain, the act of moving on requires you to take that first step, knowing that the next steps will unfold as you go. Sometimes moving on means cutting ties with people who may have once been important to you, but have now become sources of negativity, toxicity, or stagnation in your life. This could be a challenging decision, especially if you've invested a lot of time, energy, and emotion into those relationships. But for your own mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being, it's crucial to recognize when a relationship has reached its expiration date. Staying in relationships that no longer serve you or that consistently drain your energy will prevent you from stepping into the person you are meant to become. While it's difficult to let go of people who were once significant in your life, the courage to move on often means realizing that your growth and happiness must come first. Letting go also involves forgiving, not just others, but yourself. Holding on to resentment, regret, or anger can keep you emotionally tethered to the past. To truly move on, you need to release these emotions and allow yourself the grace to move forward. Forgiveness isn't about excusing the wrongs or pretending that they didn't happen. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional burden of carrying them. By forgiving, you let go of the power that past hurts have over you, and you create space for healing and peace to enter your life. Sometimes the hardest part of moving on is forgiving yourself for staying in situations or relationships longer than you should have. But once you release that burden, you give yourself the freedom to embrace the future. Moving on also means letting go of expectations and being open to the unknown. It's tempting to want everything to turn out exactly as you imagined it, but life rarely works that way. The courage to move on involves embracing uncertainty and allowing life to unfold naturally. Instead of clinging to rigid expectations, move forward with a sense of openness, knowing that what's ahead may be better than anything you could have planned. Trust that the universe has a way of guiding you to where you need to be, and that by letting go of your need for control, you can experience a life full of surprises, opportunities, and growth. At the heart of having the courage to move on is the understanding that you deserve a life that is aligned with your values, goals, and dreams. Moving on is a declaration to yourself that you're worthy of happiness, peace, and fulfillment. It's an act of self-respect that shows you're willing to step away from what no longer serves you, no matter how difficult or painful the process might be. Moving on takes time, and it's okay to take small steps, but every step forward is a victory. And with each step, you are not only shedding the weight of the past, but also creating the path for the life that is waiting for you. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to endure hardships, and to keep going even when the path ahead seems unclear or overwhelming. It's an inherent strength that everyone possesses, though it often goes unnoticed until tested by life's inevitable challenges. Resilience is not simply about surviving difficult times, but thriving through them, emerging stronger and more capable. It's the mental, emotional, and physical strength that allows individuals to weather the storms of life, no matter how harsh they may be. The power of resilience lies in its ability to transform adversity into opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Life is unpredictable, and it can throw challenges at us from all angles. Loss, disappointment, failure, and setbacks are all part of the human experience. Yet it's not the challenges themselves that define us, but how we respond to them. Resilience is the difference between being defeated by life's struggles and using those struggles as stepping stones for progress. It is not a trait reserved for the strong or the lucky, but a skill that can be cultivated and strengthened over time through practice, perspective, and self-compassion. One of the key elements of resilience is perspective. Resilient people don't avoid pain or difficulty. They face it head-on, but they approach it with a mindset that views challenges as temporary and surmountable. Instead of seeing setbacks as insurmountable obstacles, they view them as opportunities for learning and growth. When something difficult happens, they focus not on the problem itself, but on what they can learn from it and how they can use the experience to build themselves up. This mindset shift allows individuals to stay focused on what they can control and maintain hope for the future, even when things seem bleak. Resilience also involves emotional strength, the ability to manage emotions in the face of stress and adversity. When life doesn't go as planned, it's easy to fall into negative thinking, despair, or frustration. Yet resilient individuals understand that emotions, while valid, do not have to dictate their actions. Instead of allowing emotions like fear, anger, or sadness to overwhelm them, they choose to acknowledge and process these feelings, but they don't let them control their next move. Emotional resilience allows a person to feel deeply, but not to be consumed by their emotions, ensuring that they don't make decisions based on temporary feelings, but on long-term goals and values. Another important aspect of resilience is persistence. Life's challenges rarely resolve themselves overnight, and setbacks can often feel like a series of never-ending obstacles. Resilience requires the ability to keep going, even when progress seems slow or the end goal feels out of reach. It's about showing up day after day, even when the circumstances aren't ideal, and continuing to put in the effort. Persistence in the face of adversity means not giving up just because things are difficult, but rather maintaining your focus on what matters most to you. This unwavering determination helps individuals overcome hurdles that might otherwise seem insurmountable. It's the ability to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and continue moving forward even after falling. Self-compassion is also a key component of resilience. At the face of hardship, it's easy to become self-critical, to blame ourselves for things beyond our control, or to feel ashamed of our struggles. Yet resilience is fueled by the understanding that everyone faces challenges, and that making mistakes or encountering setbacks is part of being human. Resilient individuals are kind to themselves during difficult times, allowing themselves the space to grieve, to heal, and to be imperfect. Instead of berating themselves for failing, they practice self-compassion by acknowledging their efforts, celebrating their small victories, and giving themselves the grace to grow through their experiences. Resilience is also tied to a sense of purpose. People who are resilient tend to have a clear understanding of why they do what they do, even in the face of hardship. This sense of purpose acts as a guiding light during dark times, providing them with a reason to keep going when the going gets tough. Whether it's the love of family, a passion for a project, or the desire to make a difference in the world, having a purpose gives resilience its foundation. When things get difficult, resilient individuals can look to that purpose as a reminder of what truly matters, helping them to endure challenges that might otherwise seem overwhelming. Another vital aspect of resilience is adaptability. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and unexpected changes can throw us off course. Resilient individuals don't become stuck in rigid thinking or expectations. Instead, they remain flexible, willing to adjust their strategies, approaches, or even goals when necessary. They recognize that life's journey is rarely linear, and they embrace the twists and turns that come with it. Adaptability allows them to pivot when things aren't working, to find new solutions, and to keep moving forward, even when the original plan needs to be altered. At its core, resilience is about recovery. It's about learning how to rise after falling, how to adapt and change, and how to maintain hope and optimism in the face of adversity. Resilience is not a state of invincibility, but the ability to keep going, even when the odds are stacked against you. It's a skill that grows with each challenge faced, each setback endured, and each lesson learned. Resilient individuals understand that life will always present challenges, but they also know that they have the inner strength to face whatever comes their way. They trust that, no matter how difficult the journey may be, they can always find a way to keep moving forward, to grow, and to come out stronger on the other side.